Hello my pre-calculus student. In this video we are going to solve system of linear equations using augmented matrix. Let's look at the following example. There are three linear equations and there are three unknowns x, y, and z. So the first equation is 2x plus y plus 2z equal 10. The second equation is x plus 2z equal 5. So we're missing the variable y in the second equation. The third equation is x minus 2y plus 2z equal 1. The first thing we are going to do is that we are going to write the augmented matrix. So for the first equation, we will look at the coefficients of x, y, and z. So we have 2, 1, 2, and the constant is 10. And we draw a line to represent the equal sign. Look at the second equation. We have x and z missing the y. So if you're missing a variable, so I'm going to have to put a 0. So we have 1, 0, 2, and then 5. And the third equation we have 1, negative 1, 2, and 1. Okay, so now we have the augmented matrix for the given system linear equation. And let's write out the goal. So what is our goal? Our goal is that we want to apply the row operations to obtain the row echelon form. So we want to end up with a matrix that on the left hand side of the line is only 1 and 0 and 1 stay on the main diagonal, and on the right hand side will be just real numbers. And we're in this case I just go ahead and use the three letter ABC, so where ABC are real numbers. So our solution is x equal A, y equal B, and z equal C. So let's begin now. So the first step we want to do is that we want to get 1 in row 1, column 1. So you can see right here that you can interchange the row 1 and the row 2. So that now you have row 1 in column 1. So I make a note right here that I'm go ahead and interchange row 1 and row 2. So what we have right now is that row 2 become row 1 and row 1 become row 2. So if you think like this, and then row 3 stay the same. So let's write out the new matrix. Now we have 1, 0, 2, 5, 2, 1, 2, 10, and then 1, negative 2, negative 2, and 1. So now we do get 1 in row 1 and column 1. Next we want to get 0 for the rest of column 1. It means that these two numbers now we want it to become a 0. So now let's write out the next step now. So again, row 1 stay the same. So I'm going to go ahead and write it. So row 1 stay the same. So I'm going to copy row 1 now. So we have 1, 0, 2, 5. Okay, now let's start with row 2. Row 2, column 1, we want it to become a 0. To become a 0, we have to take negative 2 times row 1, which is negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, and then plus row 2. So we'll put it here, negative 2 times row 1 plus row 2. That will be the new row 2. So if you cannot do the math in your head, you can write it down here. So do negative 2 times 1 plus 2 equals 0, and you write down 0. And then the next step you do negative 2 times 0 plus 1. That will give us 1. So you write down 1 in row 2, column 2. and you do negative, and move on to the next column, column 3. So negative 2 times 2 plus 2, so that will give us negative 2. Negative 2. And then column number 4, you do negative 2 times 5 plus 10, and that will give us 0. Now let's go take care of the next 0 in column 1. So to make it to become a 0, you will take your row 1. So you can see what I'm doing here. I focus on my row 1. So I'm going to take my row 1 and want to minus row 3. So that will be the new row 3. So now I'm going to begin now. So the 1 minus 1 will be 0. And again, I'm going to go ahead and erase it so I can write the next math for row number 3. So you can see right here that 1 minus 1 gives you 0. And move on to the next column. So you have 0 minus negative 2. Right, because you take your row 1 minus your row 3. So 0 minus negative 2, so that will give you 2. And let's move on next one. So now column number 3, so row 1 is 2 minus negative 2, so that will give us 4. So do 2 minus negative 2, so that will give us 4. Oh, be careful when I copy my column when I copy my row number 3 from here to here, I make a mistake. So let me erase my negative sign a little bit. Okay, so this will be 2 minus 2, that will give us 0. And move on to column number 4. So you have 5 minus 1, and that will give us 4. So you take row 1 minus row 3, so put it 4. So now we take care column 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase the math that we put it here. This is just enough just for in case you cannot do it inside your head, you write that here. So next step now I move on to column number 2. So in column number 2, first of all you can put the highlight, so we're done with column 1. Column number 2, do I have 1? Yes, I do have 1 in row 2, column 2. Next, I want to have 0 for the rest of column 2. So we do have a 0 here, so which is good. Now we want to have a 0 in row number 3, column 2. So to get that 0, so I'm going to go ahead and do negative 2 times row number 2 plus row 3, that will be the new row 3. Why? Because you can see right here, if we take negative 2 times 1, it's negative 2, so negative 2 plus 2 will be 0. Okay, so we copy row 1 and 2. So row 1 and 2, we don't do nothing, we copy exactly the way it is. So we have 1, 0, 2, 5, 0, 1, negative 2, 0. Now row 3, so we have negative 2 times 0, right? So you do negative 2 times row 2 plus row 3, 0, so that will give you 0. Put a 0 right here. So the next column, negative 2 times 1 plus 2, so will give us 0. Column number 3, negative 2 times row 2, which is negative 2, plus row 3, which is 0, and that will give us 4. And column number 4, negative 2 times 0 plus 4, so that will give us 4 again, so put 4. So in case you cannot do the math in your head, you can write it down here so you can see how we end up with these number. Okay, so now let's go back and compare with the goal. So now we do have 0 for column number 2, and we have 1 at row 2, column 2, so it's all good. So the next step now next we want to get 1. We want to get 1 in row 3, column 3. So to get a 1, we have to divide it by 4, right? So we'll go ahead and erase this and make a note right here. We will take row number 3 and we divide by 4, and the rest stay the same. So row 3 divide by 4, that will be the new row 3, and the rest, row 1 and row 2, will stay the same. So we copy it down now. So let's start with row 3 first. 0 divided by 4 is 0. 0 divided by 4 is 0. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. And copy the rest. So copy row 2, 0, 1, negative 2, 0, 1, 0, 2, 5. Now we will have 1 in row 3, column 3. The next step that we want to do, that we want to get zeros for the rest of column number 3. So we want to get a 0 here and here. Okay, I'm going to circle this. So that will be the goal. Move the paper up a little bit. So let's begin with row number 2 first. So to get row number 2, first of all, row number 3 stay the same. So we'll go ahead and copy row 3. We don't do nothing with row 3, it stay the same. So so it will be 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. Row number 2, we want to get row 2, column 3 equals 0. So what we should do is we should take 1 times 2 equal 2 plus negative 2 become 0. So we'll put right here, we'll take 2 times row number 3 plus row number 2, that will be the new row 2. So you think about right here, I'm going to write out the math so that you can see. 2 times 0 plus 0 equals 0. First number in row 2. 2 times 0 plus 1, so 2 times row 3 plus row 2 equal 1. 2 times 1 plus negative 2 equals 0. And then the last column, column number 4, so we do 2 times 1 plus 0 equal 2. So now we take care of row number 2, all done. So this is how you are going to do it in case you cannot do it in your head. Now let's move on to row 1. So row 1, column 3, we want to become a 0, but this is a 2. So we have to make row 3, we have to take 1 times negative 2. so that when we add with the 2, it becomes a 0. So this way we say negative 2 times row number 3 plus row number 1. That will be the new row 1. Now let me erase all of the note here, and then we go ahead and write it down. What we say here, what do we mean here? So we take negative 2 times row number 3, which is 0, plus row number 1. That will be the new row 1, so that will give us 1. And the next column, you do negative 2 times row number 3, which is 0, plus row number 1, which is 0, so that will give us 0. Next one, you do negative 2 times row number 3 is 1, plus row number 2 is 2, and that will give you 0 with a 0. Column number 4, negative 2 times 1 plus 5, so that will give us 3. So now we're done with row 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase the note that we put here. This is for us to do it in our head. I just write it down so that you can see. Now we compare with the goal again. It should look like row echelon form. You can see right here that yes, it does. So we do have 1 on the main diagonal, and the rest will be 0. On the right hand side, we do have real numbers. So therefore, we are done solving this system of linear equation. We can conclude now. The solutions in this case, so again we have three unknown, x, y, and z. So I'm going to go ahead and write it down. The solution are x equal 3, y equal 2, and z equal 1. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please write your own summary. Thank you so much and goodbye.